Daniel Suarez blames NASCAR for the Katherine Legge incident, and Carl Edwards is officially coming out of hiding and will step in front of the TV camera later this year. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. NASCAR is in the first year of a new 7-year, $7.7 billion TV contract. They secured the bag. As a result, Amazon has entered the picture, TNT Sports, the CW, Fox, and NBC have put more cup races on their cable channels. It was a trade-off. NASCAR got as much money as possible to grease the wheels of the stock car racing world, but in return, the fans now are more confused than ever about where to find their favorite stock car racing series. Let's talk ratings first, then Xfinity, and then Amazon Prime has something special to deliver to us. FS1 got a 1.43 rating and 2.8 million viewers for Sunday's Cup Series race at Phoenix. There is no direct comparison because last year Phoenix was on Big Fox network television. Though, as NASCAR Man notes on X, this was the highest viewed Cup Series race on cable in almost 4 years. I would hope so, I guess. Ratings are usually better at the beginning of the season. Daytona 500, less competition from the NFL. The first cable race being earlier on the schedule in 2025 should come with a decent ratings bump compared to other cable races. Anyway, the bottom of that tweet I showed y'all, the CW, 13% year-over-year increase for the Xfinity Series race. Imagine how much bigger that number could be if the CW could keep their affiliate stations in check. I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a moment. Every single week, fans are in my comment section saying, hey, I can't watch the Xfinity Series race. The CW in my area is showing reruns of Gossip Girl or something. Shoot, last weekend, the CW had to apologize because apparently their Atlanta station cut away from the final lap of the Xfinity Series race. Are these stations being run by AI? How could anyone paying attention let that happen? The broadcasts themselves have been very good. Adam Alexander, Parker Kligerman, Jamie McMurray in the booth have been excellent. Pit road reporting, superb. NASCAR Productions handling the actual direction. The cameras, very good, no notes. The problem is accessibility, or an apparent lack thereof. The Xfinity CW deal was promoted as, hey, anyone with an antenna can get every single Xfinity Series race. No streaming, no cable subscription add-ons. But unfortunately, so far in many regions, that has proven not to be the case. The easiest way the CW could alleviate these concerns in the short term would just be to stream the races live online. The CW app, CW Sports, they show practice and qualifying live, but for some reason they only show the race the day after. Just show the race live so that race fans in these regions that aren't showing the race have a chance to watch it. I don't understand why the CW doesn't do this. I hope they make this change. Again, it would be the quickest and easiest way to fix the problems many fans are currently facing. All right, I'll get off my soapbox. While we're on the topic of TV, actually, let's pivot to streaming technically. Carl Edwards, newly inducted NASCAR Hall of Famer, has been signed by Amazon Prime Video. Edwards will appear on the network's pre- and post-race show that already consists of Danielle Trotta and Corey LaJoie. You also saw in that graphic Prime Video confirmed Kim Kuhn, Marty Snyder, and Trevor Bayne will be pit reporters for Amazon Prime Video's coverage that begins May 25th at the Coca-Cola 600. Focusing on Carl, I believe Edwards is the guest on tomorrow's episode of the Dale Jr. Download. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is anchoring the Amazon Prime booth alongside Adam Alexander and Steve Letarte. According to a report today from The Athletic, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s involvement was critical in convincing Carl Edwards to sign. We've seen things moving this direction for quite some time. For years, Carl Edwards was reclusive. It was rare to see him anywhere near a racetrack. But over the past couple of years, really ever since 2023, NASCAR's 75th anniversary throwback weekend at Darlington, Carl Edwards has routinely emerged from the shadows. I was at Kansas Speedway last fall when Carl Edwards claimed he'd re-fallen in love with NASCAR.
Being able to come back here and almost re-fall in love with the sport, through the eyes of a lot of people that I've been around the last few years who weren't part of my career. I get to see how excited they are. That's been pretty neat.
Carl Edwards has gotten closer and closer and closer to the sport over the past couple of years. And he has the opportunity, if he wants, to get even closer. Kyle Larson put it out there recently. Edwards should practice his number 5 Chevrolet at North Wilkesboro while Larson is qualifying for the Indianapolis 500. Larson said, quote, "That's my pick this year. I've mentioned it to Jeff Gordon and Cliff Daniels, but nobody outside of that. So it's not anything serious right now, but that's who I would pick. I think that would make a huge splash in the sport and be great. Carl, if you happen to see this, please jump in the number 5 car. We want you." Last year, it was Kevin Harvick who jumped behind the wheel of the number 5 for All-Star race practice. He was able to communicate his experience with Hendrick Motorsports on the Fox broadcast, maybe made his coverage a bit better. It sounds like Kyle Larson just really enjoys TV analysis and wants to help. Carl initially balked at Larson's suggestion, and it sounds like, according to Jordan Bianchi of The Athletic, he's made a final decision. I asked Carl about whether he'd take Larson up on his offer, and Carl said he was going to decline. Well, it does say he's going to decline, not that he has already declined, so maybe there's still a chance. I'm delusional. Like I said, Carl has not driven anything in NASCAR in over 8 years. The next gen car wasn't even an idea when Carl last raced in the Cup Series. I'd love to see him make a few practice laps in a Hendrick Motorsports car, but it sounds like that's wishful thinking. Either way, Carl Edwards is about to be on TV, again, streaming technically, which means he'll be out in the open, in amongst the garage, more so than he has been in years. How are we feeling about Prime Video so far? I think the booth of Adam Alexander, Dale Jr., Steve Letarte should be solid. The pre- and post-race show, I think Daniel Trotta is great at what she does. I think Corey LaJoie and Carl Edwards could be really good. Hey, there's no way their chemistry can be worse than Kevin Harvick and Clint Bowyer's, right? So if we've been able to stomach that the past few weeks, I think Carl Edwards and Corey LaJoie will do just fine together. There you go, big news today. Big splash after years of shooing away TV opportunities. It's Amazon Prime Video that finally lands Carl Edwards' on-camera services. Before we go, I hate that this continues to be a story, but Sunday, of course, Katherine Legge became the first woman since Danica Patrick to make a Cup Series start. She was doing okay, but had 2 self-spins. One took out Daniel Suarez, who was running top 10 at the time. Daniel does a YouTube show, and in this week's episode, there's a quote from him explaining his frustration with that on-track incident. Daniel Suarez said in the video, quote, "Nothing against her. I hope girls make it into the sport. There's nothing wrong with her. What is wrong is NASCAR. They cannot allow somebody with no experience to run in the Cup Series, plain and simple." Of course, there has been a lot of nasty and undue criticism of Katherine Legge over the past few days, and I've even seen some people criticize Daniel Suarez comments right there, but I think more or less he's spot on. Katherine Legge is a 50-50 call, in my opinion, because while she has very little stock car experience, I've said it before, but she has 1 stock car oval race on her resume. It was 7 years ago. She has run the Indianapolis 500 as recently as last year. In fact, last year she made 6 or 7 oval IndyCar starts. I know, completely different vehicle, but I mean, at least she's used to turning left exclusively. I don't think NASCAR would have approved her to run Las Vegas, for example, a much higher speed oval track, but Phoenix, relatively low speed, not slow. It's not really a short track. But you look at her resume, she's run a lot of sports car races. Yes, she would have been better suited at a road course. It sounded like the plan originally was to run COTA, but the deal came together too late. I would have had no issue with her racing at COTA. She would have been more than qualified to run really any road course on the schedule, in my opinion. But she was set up to fail, making her Cup Series debut at a difficult oval, driving for, I'm sorry, Live Fast Motorsports, the slowest team in the garage, a part-time team. There was so much working against her. Like I said, I think it was a 50-50 call on NASCAR's part. Because this was a regular season race, I don't hate that they approved her. I obviously hate how it wound up. But because it's 50-50, I think if someone like a Katherine Legge wanted to make their debut in the playoffs, for example, sponsor deal comes together, whatever. If you're 50-50, I think in the playoffs, NASCAR should say, no debut in the playoffs. Early in the season, okay, we'll give you a shot. Playoffs, nah. That's how I feel about it. Again, Katherine Legge has dealt with some undue criticism this week, some very valid. I mean, in my opinion, when the COTA deal fell through, they probably shouldn't have forced through this Phoenix opportunity, but sponsorship is sponsorship. You got to take the deal when you get it. Still, it was a very difficult position she was put in, and I thought she did a fine job until she self-spun there midway through the race. Difficult spot. Daniel Suarez frustrations entirely justified. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Again, Katherine Legge's resume, a lot of sports car races. She ran a lot of IndyCar ovals last year. She's run the Indy 500, gone 220, 230. Recently, this isn't a Mike Wallace situation where he went 10 years between oval starts of any kind. Not even just NASCAR, any oval race, 10-year gap, not the same thing. Anyway, leave a comment down below. We'll move on the rest of this week. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, folks. Subscribe for more NASCAR news and commentary every single day, all year long. Big thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters as well. I'll talk with you again soon. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, folks. Take care.